This is the final frontier. This is the ultimate call. The destination of the football faithful in Jamaica. And now at its peak, we see two protagonists defined by irony. Because in one corner, a team with experienced heads seeking their first league title. In the other corner, the third winners of the Premier League, filled with youthful quality, looking for their third title. We can report the tide from Runaway Bay in St. Anne has come all the way to Kingston for a prize, and maybe he will be the one to lead that prize. Trevante Stewart, he's come a long way from his boyhood days in Spanish Town, and I tell you what, he has travelled to St. Anne to lead the charge and possibly Mount Pleasant's first league title, and he's just behind this talisman from, well, formerly of Cavalier. He played only one Manning Cup season, scored about 16 goals in the Manning Cup, and since then, since he started playing football just in 2017, he has stepped up to so many levels, and now he's a leading scorer in the Premier League, and it's really about these two, Dwight Jeremiah.
It's definitely down to these two to win a game. They say defense win championship, but when you come to a game, it's goals that's going to win it. And these two are the best at doing it in the Jamaica Premier League. And quite fitting that they are in the final. And the battle for the ultimate prize, which is the title and champion of the Jamaica Premier League. But in it as well, those subplots of the Golden Boot, a hot race, and just one goal in it.
We have seen winners from Kingston and St. Andrew, Westmoreland, St. James, St. Catherine and Clarendon. The majority in the house here tonight, they're looking for one more parish to join that fray, and that is St. Anne. They are the favourites heading into this final, and this Mount Pleasant team believe that they can, they should, they must go all the way. But on the other side is a Cavalier team. And we mentioned Colin Anderson so many times before and what he has to offer. And maybe he's a little bit nervous, but he knows the responsibility on his shoulders because he's up against fellow giants in Trevante Stewart and this Mount Pleasant team. Both teams eager to offer so much in just a few minutes' time, LeJay Williams.
The final that a lot of people would have hoped to see. Two of the best teams in the nation for not only this season but seasons past. Mount Pleasant finally making it to a final. Cavalier, they're second in 3 seasons, and so much talent on show on both teams. And we have to speak about the 2 strikers who are tearing up the league at current moment. It's going to be a significant battle to not only see who is going to get the upper hand today, but who will get the upper hand overall in the goal scoring charts.
When you talk about the upper hand in the goal scoring chart, Mount Pleasant will want to get the upper hand. Twice they've gotten close to getting into finals. It's Cavalier that had stopped them in 2018-2019. They came fourth. Cavalier beat them 1-0. And in 2022, they were fourth again. Lost 4-3 on penalties to Cavalier. So they will want to turn the tides this time around, Donald.
Indeed they will. They're looking for a third star, Cavalier, to add to that crest. Mount Pleasant looking for their first star tonight. We'll now pause for the playing of the national anthem. which man will meet the moment. Opportunity beckons. The highest prize beckons. And these two teams are ready. Sabina Park, almost jam-packed. Okita Nicholson is in charge of this grand final. Melvin Reed, Nicholas Anderson will assist him. Stefan Dua, the fourth official. Kyle Ming, the captain of Cavalier on the left. Ladale Ritchie, the captain of Mount Pleasant on the right. Mount Pleasant with a team photo they hope will go throughout the ages. Shaquan Davis between the sticks. In front of him, a back four, Sule McCullough, Ladale Ritchie, Shaquille Dyer, O'Dane Murray comes into the starting lineup. In the middle of the park, Melvin Doxley, Leonard Rankin, Devontae Campbell, and Kimoni Bailey, and Shandy James behind Trevante Stewart.
Two big changes for Mount Pleasant in this game. Kimani Campbell not at left back, and more importantly, Demario Phillips out of the middle of the park. It will be up to Shandy James and O'Dane Murray to try and fill those voids and supply the big man up front, Trevante Stewart.
This is the Cavalier team as we know it. Vina Bartlett, the St. Lucian, again remains between the sticks. They have a back three of Gadale Irving, Kyle Ming, and Giovanni Leng. In the middle of the park, Christopher Ainsworth, Dwayne Allen, Adrian Reed, and Jerome McCleary. Up top, Ronaldo Webster on the left. Ronaldo Robinson, which is a bit of a surprise inclusion on the right. Colin Anderson, their leading goal scorer, up top.
Yeah, that's a big change that you mentioned, Donald. Ronaldo Robinson being brought in, and Mount Pleasant are going to have to make the decision which pace they will have to forget about. But Robinson, has a lot of pace about him as well. We spoke about Kyle Ming earlier, and the way that they're going to organise themselves at the back to deal with the threat of Mount Pleasant is going to be important here tonight.
We're on the way for the 2022-2023 Jamaica Premier League Final. Mount Pleasant, in their full blue outfit, will be kicking towards downtown Kingston and the Caribbean Sea. And Cavalier, of course, they're dressed in their traditional white and black, will be kicking towards the New Kingston area and to uptown Kingston. And a slight limp there from Colin Anderson. Cavalier will be hoping that is much ado about nothing.
Mount Pleasant will be thinking otherwise. They'd love for him to be limping all this game. That will cut the speed down for them to be able to deal with him. But we've right up to good attacking players, Ligier. But the fact is, both teams, they have so many different match winners on the park. There are 13 different goal scorers for Cavalier, 15 for Mount Pleasant. Yeah, the big boys are out there. But if they don't do the job, both teams quite equipped to be able to get it done with others.
Yeah, big threat for Mount Pleasant could be even Leonardo Rankin, who had 3 goals in the playoffs so far, all coming from set pieces. So when a ball is there to be swung in, although they will be out without the creativity and the ball striking of Demario Phillips to put in those balls into the box, I do think that Mount Pleasant do have enough creativity from wide to make Rankin a huge threat in that Cavalier back line.
James may be critical in this game. Lovely dink over the top, looking for Trevante Stewart. But Vina Bartlett was so alert, getting off his line quickly to pick it up ahead of the striker. And Rankin with a lot of the ball so far. James trying to make his way through. Oh, that's passed accidentally to Anderson, who keeps it alive. And the pass was a little bit too shallow for Webster, and it goes the other way. They tried to go long, it's too long, and it's going to be a goal kick to Cavalier.
Right, we see one of the hallmarks of Colin Anderson, as we see Coach Whitmore there, experienced enough saying that there is always going to be anxiety and a little nerves to start the game. If it matters to you, that's always the case, but as soon as the first whistle goes, you expect that butterfly to just fly away, and he'd want that for his players out there. But I was saying for Colin Anderson, that breakaway just now, as he got up and laid the ball off, we saw him making the move on the blind side of the defenders, not looking to run across their path front, but behind them just to try and surprise them. That's something he has done so well this season.
Kimoni Bailey, he has some work to do on this right hand side. Usually a big game player, Kimoni Bailey, and that's why they acquired his services for Mount Pleasant this year. But this is Ronaldo Robinson, couldn't quite settle on that occasion. Shaquille Dar making certain there at the back.
Good on speed here, technical director for Cavalier. He's also chairman of the technical committee at Jamaica Football Federation, and when Theodore Whitmore was the technical person there, the head coach, he was the man overseeing his work, and some would say was a part of the team that relieved him of his duties. So maybe there's other undercurrents here, Donald.
Here is a corner kick for Cavalier. This one whipped in at the back post, and Shaquan Davis holding on tightly. Murray to Rankin. Well, this is Murray rather, trying to force that one further up the park. Takes a throw himself, looking and finding Bailey. Bailey trying to switch the play. Richie with the clearance. James and Bailey working together, and then it just moved away from Bailey. Safety first as far as the Cavalier backline is concerned. He's a marked man, Trevante Stewart. Murray finding him. Stewart didn't have a whole lot of power behind it. He was looking for the far corner there, but there were no issues for Bartlett.
Yeah, it's the type of player, he's really in a purple patch again, and he really scores his goals in patches. Does Stewart. I was looking for the shot there, really didn't get the space.
Lovely ball played through, and the flag goes up.
Risky way for Mount Pleasant to defend. I said that they need to defend transitions well. That was an artificial one created by Colin Ainsworth, but when the ball was played through, Ronaldo Webster making the run in behind was offside. But aging backline this one for Mount Pleasant, and if they're going to try and play this offside trap, that's going to be a risky game over these 90 minutes.
Risky indeed, but I think if they can get it right, I think what happened is that they have to time that step up, Leger, because if there's no pressure on the ball as a defensive unit, you can't step up. We saw Cavalier score 2 goals against Harbourview in the playoff with that same way, the goal in the first leg and the first goal in the second. The backline for Harbourview stepped up at the wrong time.
McCullough trying to find Stewart. Shandy James working a lot so far in the opening few minutes here. This is Doxley. Stewart trying to hold off 2, and does. Looking for some support. He's going to the byline. He gets the corner kick. Good work from the striker.
He started this game certainly up for it. Certainly looks like he's in an ominous mood, Trevante Stewart. But the danger man from this corner now is Rankin. Cavalier needs to be aware of where he's going to pick up his spaces. Usually makes that run to the near post. Let's see what Mount Pleasant has planned.
First corner kick to Mount Pleasant. Here it comes at the near post. Brilliant! before and has won titles for Portmore United. And now he sends Mount Pleasant on their way in this final. McCullough with the early strike in this grand finale. Mount Pleasant 1, Cavalier 0.
One of the most versatile players in this Mount Pleasant team, asked to play on the left side today, having played on the right in both legs of the semi-finals, and was not picked up here. And the flick on, they were looking at the near post. He found himself in a pocket of space, and yeah, poor marking from Cavalier, and you don't give that to good players. And McCullough really accepted that right on his head, and no chance you feel for goalkeeper there. Just came off too quickly, and Speed conceded his first goals in the playoff here, and now will have to come from behind.
Poor marking there from the corner by Cavalier. You cannot leave players who are that potent in the box with so much space. And Sule McCullough, Donald said that he has been here before. He has been a winner before, and he has certainly put Mount Pleasant in a position to be winners here tonight. Can they hold on?
Devontae Campbell was trying to find Stewart. It wasn't the best pass forward. The question is, how will Cavalier respond? We've put so much attention, and rightly so, to the top marksmen in this league, but the supporting cast, they have to come up trumps in this one. And Sule McCullough is a part of a strong supporting cast for Mount Pleasant. And here's James with a dink inside. Almost turned out beautiful for Rankin.
Well, Donald, before this we did talk about the 15 other goal scorers that Mount Pleasant have as McCullough's second of the season. And we said, yes, the big men are here, but there's so many players that can really come to the fore tonight. One has stepped up already, not putting his hand up, really putting his head in the right place.
And now we get to see a true test of Cavaliers. So often they have been front runners. So often they have scored first and then had to defend and hold on. And we saw in the link-up final, when they do concede first, it's often difficult for them to try and break down a team. This is a big test for Cavalier now.
Shaquan Davis right behind this one. Hasn't been tested as yet. Do has those long deliveries, and that occasion was looking for Stewart.
The goal being conceded by Cavalier may not yet change how they see to play. The fact that they get very deep, two banks of five, mainly of 5 and 4 and 1, but they're very potent still on the counter. And we see the fans here from Mount Pleasant. On my way up today, did come across a lot of them in St. Anne's, stopped at Priory where there's that pudding shop, and I got inside and they obliged in giving me the front of the line, but they're saying, we're doing you a favor, make sure you get enough energy for this one because they're up for it.
These two teams, of course, met in match day 17. Mount Pleasant in that game started like a house on fire. I think they scored a couple of goals within the first 7 or 8 minutes of that one. Cavalier responded quickly in putting a goal back. That match ended 2-2. So Cavalier, they are used to being under pressure against this Mount Pleasant team. George Davis in the house.
Yeah, that game you spoke about, Donald, would love more of that. 4 minutes and 6 minutes for Mount Pleasant ahead. Cavalier in 10 and 30. So after 30 minutes of the first half, it was 2-2.
And that was all she wrote. Dyer. The captain, Richie.
And we can already see how deep this Mount Pleasant backline is setting up, not going forward and moving forward towards the halfway line like they usually do to really camp out on a team and pile pressure. They're fully aware of the threat that Cavalier posing behind.
Devontae Campbell on the ball now. Looking for support in Shandy James. Just manages to keep possession. Rankin. Len goes long, trying to find Anderson. There was no one close to him really. Cavalier will get it back. Murray. Robinson does get there. Ronaldo Robinson sweeps that one inside. Anderson is there. And so too Dyer does well not to run into the back of Ronaldo Robinson. Robinson was looking for a foul. And he gets the call.
Dyer didn't need to give up that free kick on that occasion. He got away with the first 2 bumps. Just needed to stand his ground because Robinson had the ball. Couldn't stop him from getting it again. Just preventing him from turn. That's all he wanted to, or should have been trying to do. In the end, now he gives them a free serve into the box.
Ainsworth to deliver. It's a lovely ball inside. Comes all the way through. And there's a whistle on the play. It's a free kick going against Webster and Cavalier.
Not sure if it also touched Webster's hand. You'll see on this replay.
Yeah, he was on his way down.
And touching his hand as well.
Yeah. Rankin needs some attention. So too maybe Shaquan Davis. No, he's all right. Mount Pleasant support coming in from all different angles. The academy also usually here to support their team, their players. Rankin isn't one to stay down. They seem to be a little bit concerned by it, but it really is a packed house and the majority here from Mount Pleasant. It's almost as if they came for a party.
Well, Whitmore spoke when he played in the semi-final that he had to find a way to keep the Arnett Garden supporters quiet. So he knows the importance of the 12-man, and I think they really went all out. And they're not short enough resources there to really bust people and bring them here. Jermaine Thomas there, coach of Dunby Holden, and Vassal Reynolds, who is taking charge of some of the 15 players for Jamaica at the moment. 2 good friends of mine there, and they're enjoying this one. Did say they were going to come in and watch, and they're here. Not sure they're supporting any of these 2 teams, just looking for good football.
We'll see at the final whistle. Cavalier not doing a lot of pressing in this one. They do make their move on the halfway mark. Mount Pleasant, they have given that one up a little bit too easily. So too Cavalier in return.
Yeah, I think it's very intentional by Cavalier not to press too high against Mount Pleasant because the centre backs are staying so deep. So if they were to press, it would create so much space in the midfield for Mount Pleasant, and that's definitely what they would want to avoid. Avoid giving players like Rankin and Doxley and Shandy James too much space on the ball, trying to constrict that space and defend deep and try and stop Mount Pleasant from progressing the ball as well as they usually do.
You're right on that too, and another feature is that they did it well against Arborview in their playoff, but Mount Pleasant is much quicker in attacking transition than an Arborview, and they're more direct with their pass, looking to break lines. So you're right, they're going to stay compact because they still believe that they can hurt Mount Pleasant on the counter because they're so good, one of the best and quickest in attacking transitional play, and with smart runs, as we see here, the infringement, Doxley just having too much to do with the hand.
Yeah, the former Cavalier player, Melvin Doxley.
Certainly you'd want to get one over them tonight.
Here is Devontae Campbell carrying the ball with him until he lost it. Shandy James with it now. Rankin with the possession, getting support from Murray, and Murray's ball is a little bit too wayward, so no issues for Vina Bartlett. Patterson with a receiving a push in the back there.
Not for the first time, Mount Pleasant giving away, I think, a very cheap free kick to Cavalier. J.D. White and the rest of the Cavalier bench looking a bit nervous. Sasha Neil Thomas here with his phone in hand, not taking any chances this time.
Do you blame him?
Devontae Campbell on the move. Campbell inside the area. Already he's been crowded out. Bailey to Rankin. Rankin to Stewart. Back to Rankin! Over the top. It was beautiful movement by Mount Pleasant.
We spoke about the rotation of this midfield. Legit, you did mention it in your pre-game talk of this Mount Pleasant team, and we saw the evidence of it.
Anderson will get there, but couldn't quite control. There's a foul from Webster. He's angry about the call. Where's a free kick to Mount Pleasant?
That's an easy call, but as we look here, good link-up play coming to McCullough. Doesn't have the legs, as Whitmore pointed out, but he's a smart player, and he plays those link-up plays very well. Didn't get a shot off in the end, hurried a little bit, but yeah, you talk about him. He's been the player for them in this playoff with Stewart as well. Some 3 or 4 goals in the playoffs, but he's definitely a danger.
Yeah, he's going to be a huge danger for Mount Pleasant, especially when he's arriving late from deep as well. It's not only set pieces where he's dangerous, and we can already see the patterns of play from Mount Pleasant. Kimani, Bailey not necessarily involved in the play as much. We're seeing Devontae Campbell on the other side, on the left-hand side. He's the one driving with the ball and trying to create chaos. And then when he gets Trevante Stewart involved, that's when someone like Rankin or Shandy James arriving deep from the top of the box, those shots could be very lethal.
Mount Pleasant, they've had the majority of the possession in this game, and here they are working it around. They'd love a second goal. Of course, based on past experiences, that doesn't mean that they would be clear. Cavalier in the past, they've come from behind against this same team. Murray driving inside. Doxley. Dyer. Trying to force that one through. Doxley. Colin Anderson barely has had a sniff in this contest.
I think he's dropped in a bit deeper to see if he can pick it up from deep and have a run at this defense line. If he can get into the pockets between the defense and the midfield for Mount Pleasant and turn and run at this back line, he'll have some joy.
Anderson trying to flick that one on. Bailey. As I said, Mount Pleasant dominating the possession, 55%. The official percentage. Campbell.
Saw Devontae Campbell there looking around to see if anyone's overlapping, but it's not going to be the same overlapping that we would see from Sule McCullough that we would usually see from Kimani Campbell.
Yep.
So it's up to him to really isolate against young McCleary on that side. Well, both of them are young, to be fair.
And that's an interesting battle in and of itself. McCullough trying to thread that one through. Giovanni Leng was in the way. And Leng finding Colin Anderson. And Anderson looking up. I think he was actually trying for the pass, you know.
Yeah, I think he was looking for Webster coming through the middle, but, you know, didn't get that one right. But certainly the intention, you can see there, the execution didn't match.
Out comes Bartlett. Collision with his own player. Both need attention.
And that's another feature that we did make mention of there with Trevante Stewart. He's very physical in the box as well. He's not shying away from that. He's a big lad and certainly does not shy away from leaving something. I think he was partly the reason for that, just bumps the defender into the goalkeeper, trying to get some advantage there, whatever he can get. Wanting to get a sight of goal to see if he can really draw level with Colin Anderson.
Ramesh in the house here for this Jamaica Premier League final. Valiant is beside him as well. Ramesh is a fellow Ardenet, by the way, just to put that out there.
A lot of dancehall superstars over at the Campari stand. We saw Lali there as well, enjoying the football.
Just the one goal in it, and it was scored by Sule McCullough, his second goal this season, and they are in a frenzy because of it.
Yeah, just got away from Gadale Irving there. Just that extra yard of pace. Stepped away. The reaction from Irving just a bit slow. By the time McCullough met it, Irving was just arriving at the spot, and that flew past Bartlett in goal before he could react. And McCullough rose highest of everyone, and no one would stand in his way on that one.
Ainsworth on the ball. Christopher Ainsworth couldn't get by Murray. Irving with a long throw. Murray keeps it alive. Comes out to Ainsworth. Flag went up. Offside against Cavaliers number 11.
Cavalier are normally dangerous from wide areas. We saw Ainsworth there, as we see. Yeah, looked tight. It looks like he was in line with Anderson. Both looks offside for me. Yeah, I give assistant referee Anderson thumbs up for that one. I felt he got that one right. A FIFA assistant referee is. You expect that from him. But yeah, in the wide areas, Cavalier are normally dangerous. But I think what Mount Pleasant does so well, they have defensive numbers up in that particular area. The fullback, the wide attacking player, and one defensive midfielder tends to come across and try to create that numbers up. Cavalier on that occasion with Ainsworth was just one player across there. They're going to have to get the overlap. They're going to have to get the numbers up in those wide areas to counter that play from Mount Pleasant in trying to deal with that.
I think we're going to see a substitution here actually really early in the game. Topi from Mount Pleasant getting ready.
Is it Richie who's coming off?
Yeah, it looks so. He's already taken off the captain's armband, handing it to Sule McCullough, and that's
there were some question marks surrounding his fitness, especially with what we saw in the playoffs. But this is the earliest that he has retreated. Ladiel Ritchie, and of course he's disappointed, but he does leave the game with his team in a position of strength somewhat, but obviously disappointed, and it's a former Cavalier player on to replace him.
Yeah, Topi will want to come into this one and forget the memories of his game when he played Dunbeholden and they lost 3-1. He's up against his former team. He did score against them in one of the rounds this season, a 93rd minute goal to get the winner for Mount Pleasant. But that's a big blow for Mount Pleasant, you feel, with the leadership, the experience of Ladiel Ritchie. He's a tough customer, so if he's coming off at this time, really is more, it's beyond him to continue.
big job now for Topi. Has to be right up to speed, quite literally, against his Cavalier attackers.
Bailey, Kimoni Bailey on it. He was thinking of a shot, decided against it. This is Murray. James does well to still keep possession. Wonderfully done. Needs some help though. He was looking for the foul to be called. It was eventually. And at Mount Pleasant, they have a free kick in an interesting position here.
And one thing that substitution really adds for Mount Pleasant in terms of Topi coming on is another huge body in that box for Cavalier to defend. Looks as if Kimoni Bailey might have a problem here. No, that's actually Shandy James. Saw him stretch a bit. when trying to protect the ball not too long ago.
Yeah, the stretcher is on the field of play now.
You hope it's not a deep groin injury, but they're looking at the hamstring. And that's not something that you run up so easily. He's grimacing a lot there, but for him, I think they'll try and get him up back and test it again. But the groin and the hamstring, not really areas that, if it is deep, it will be difficult to continue.
It's not as if Mount Pleasant are short of attacking midfield reinforcements on the bench. Ricardo Morris, one of the better attacking midfielders for the past 5+ years in the Jamaica Premier League, in reserve.
He's going to leave the field for a while, Shandy James. But Mount Pleasant, they do have a free kick. Devontae Campbell behind it. Kimoni Bailey also behind it. It's going to be Bailey at the back post. He was looking for Topi, you know. But Bartlett in the way, and then just colliding with Trevante Stewart. Mano a mano, and actually didn't come out hurt. Irving needed a better ball from him. Murray needed a better clearance. A bit scrappy at the moment, but Mount Pleasant will try and settle now. McCullough. He gives the ball away cheaply too. Reed sends it out wide to McCleary. Reed sends this one looking for Anderson. Mistimed his run and his jump in the end. Couldn't quite read the flight of the ball there.
Yeah, I did well in the end though to get a touch on it. He looked second best to get to it initially with two defenders there, but yeah, mistimed it. And maybe
didn't have to attack it as he did.
No. Neither of the two big men have really had a real look at goal. I see that shot from Trevante Stewart that he didn't really connect well with early in this one. Anderson yet to get a look in at Davis' eyes here. But they're typical strikers. They don't get bothered when they're left out of the game for too long. They know it's just a moment, and the game is played in moments.
Murray, Ainsworth, Nicochet Murray again. He was fouled. They move quickly. It's with Ainsworth now. Ainsworth, that's a lovely ball inside to Webster. Webster twisting and turning, forced out of the area though. Sends it across, put behind by Rankin. Corner kick.
A lucky break there from Mount Pleasant. Again, I don't feel that they have enough players coming over in the wide areas, and we saw on that play, I think they did well to get that ball to Webster. Once he came out of the box, I think it made the defenders a little bit more confident to go in and try and make that challenge. Good block in the end. He did well, Webster, to try and get a ball almost in that 6-yard box.
Adrian Reed with a corner kick. Here it comes. It's a good one. It's punched away by Shaquan Davis. And now here's Trevante Stewart. Stewart with a lovely ball. The keeper off his line. Devontae Campbell needing options. Having two. Couldn't find one.
That was a lovely opportunity for Mount Pleasant on the break. A good attacking transitional play, and Campbell really was poor with that
He
selection.
has another chance here. Devontae Campbell on the byline, forced out of play, but he has earned his team a corner kick.
Good punch, good purchase from Davis there, lovely clearance, and once Stewart got onto the end of it, then he looked up and saw Campbell on his bike and let him loose. Campbell did well, get away from Vino Bartlett there, didn't want to touch him, retreating to goal, needed more purchase on that. Had Bailey and Stewart waiting for a really good pass that you expect Campbell to really deliver.
Corner kick to Mount Pleasant. Campbell looking to deliver well this time. It's headed away by Cavalier. Only as far as Shandy James. Topi had remained onside, couldn't do a lot with that one. And it's going to be a throw into Cavalier. Theodore Whitmore looking for a second trophy as manager. Whitmore, of course, would have won the Caribbean Cup as head coach of Jamaica back in the year 2010. This after doing so as a player in 1998 and 2005.
He's really looking to do what no Mount Pleasant coach has done before him. And Mount Pleasant, they've really gone through the coaches as well. 2018 when they came up, Dookie was in charge. Teagan Davis 2020, 2019 as well. Wally Downs 2021 and Theodore Whitmore 2022. So much like Chelsea, as that's what Peter Gould, that's his favourite club. So he's modelling his management of this club in that way. May get his wish here.
Anderson getting a foot in, finding McCleary, getting the return ball from Anderson. Tried to skip by a challenge, but Jamoy Topi was alert. Here's Stewart on his lonesome at the moment, but he's still so dangerous. Trevante Stewart trying to get by Leng. Stewart rifles that across the face of goal, and Bailey trying to gather. Kept it well in play. Challenge from behind. Free kick to Mount Pleasant.
I really want to see Mount Pleasant get a little bit more creative with the free kicks. They've been getting a lot of it in the playoff. I think they can be a little bit more creative in this final third. But you spoke about Stewart. Dangerous, whether he's on his own or he has company. And you saw the jockeying back there and trying to keep him out. But yeah, still find that space to get that ball across the box. Maybe a better option would have been to cut it back. But that flew across goal. There was no Mount Pleasant players who was looking to bust the net.
Well, you said that Mount Pleasant Cavalier and the only team that's dangerous from transitional opportunities. Trevante Stewart showed exactly why you said that. Dwight Jeremiah, excellent on his lonesome as well. Big free kick opportunity now for Mount Pleasant.
Bailey behind it, Campbell also behind it as well. The three-man wall set up by Bartlett. It is Campbell at the back post. Vital head away from Webster. The follow-up from Shandy James is well wide of the mark. It's a goal kick to Cavalier.
Indian, I talk about being more creative. That wasn't a bad serving up in the box because Bartlett thought about coming for it at one stage, but he curled away from him towards that back post and he was praying for it to fall on one of his players' head. In the end, it did.
Webster now fouled. Free kick to Cavalier now. Now it's time for them to try and put on some pressure on Shaquan Davis and company. Murray with the dink at the back post. Oh! McCleary! He timed the run to perfection, didn't he, the youngster? Couldn't get much of a header on it, but what a ball that was from Ricochet Murray.
Yeah, Murray got that one, and McCullough would have been at fault there, and he was blessed or happy to see that that one went wide because he didn't go with the runner. The ball into the box at Peach, and the run from deep. Oh, that was lovely. That all it needed was a finish. Didn't come, but certainly one of the most dangerous moments created by Cavalier in this tie.
James will get this for Mount Pleasant. Rankin. Topi. Doxley inside to Stewart, who has collected this deed, and McCullough is on it, and Stewart is calling for it, but Campbell serves it up, and it was always going to be difficult for Bailey to get on the end of that one with a header.
Trevante Stewart had vacated the box and that attack, so not too much to aim for, but Devontae Campbell still extremely positive. Anytime he gets the ball, he was a game changer in that semi-final second leg, one of the standout players for Mount Pleasant, and he's carried on that form in this final as well.
You get the feel on that cross though, Leger, that maybe a little patience. He had one to aim at, would have to pick a needle out of a haystack because Cavalier then retreated about 5 at the back. Maybe just to look for the support to hold the play up until he gets the arrival of other players on that occasion. But you're right, I love watching him on the ball. A live wire and a tricky player as well.
He's left that one for McCullough, who's now wearing the captain's armband in the absence of Ladale Ritchie, who had to come off after 25 minutes. There he is, Ritchie. He's been in these situations before, but he knows how to win a title. He wasn't 100% fit. You can see the heavily bandaged thigh there. But he wanted to give his all to the very last drop, which he did. McCullough. Devontae Campbell now. Trevante Stewart. Oh, he does so well, Trevante Stewart, in utilizing his strength. And Leng is on him like white on rice. And Murray to Bailey. And Murray continues his run. Bailey, though, not afraid to recycle. James. Shandy James. Ambitious.
And there we saw the rotation at full effect for Mount Pleasant. James was deepest of the middle three there and really went for a pop from distance. But we spoke about the physicality of Stewart. Such a strong player. The hold-up play is excellent. He brings others into play when he drops deep and not easily dispossessed of the ball. And certainly one that drives fear into any opponent. And whether he's scoring or being physical or linking up play, dropping in between the lines, he's a handful.
Rankin. That's a lovely ball over the top. And Stewart, his shot was blocked. The flag had stayed down, and Stewart felt that he had a big opportunity here.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant doing what to Cavalier what they normally do to team. How then could that line be so high with no pressure on the ball? Yes, it was from deep, but yeah, certainly that one. Replay there, would love to see that one again. But yeah, you're stepping up with no pressure on the ball. You have to get it right. But it's basic in football. No pressure on the ball. You have to drop.
Campbell takes it short. Bailey back to Devontae Campbell. Ball played inside. Oh, the header. Well, that could have gone anywhere. And Adrian Reed thanking his lucky stars on that occasion.
Yeah, the angle of that one fooled us a bit. But Mount Pleasant getting a bit creative with how they're whipping in these set pieces. Expecting a more conventional delivery here.
Here's a corner kick. Oh, that went straight through to Leng, you know, who had to put it behind. Right in the 6-yard box.
Cavalier having big problems with dealing with the movement of the Mount Pleasant players in the box for these corners, not knowing who to mark, so a lot of miscommunication going on at current.
Devontae Campbell to deliver again. Oh, they'd love a second goal here before the interval, Mount Pleasant. Referee Nicholson getting involved here. A Cavalier player is down.
It's a really concerned, pensive look on Speed's face. He knows he's not dealing with these well. Defensively, he's got to get it right. Yeah, as Leger said, not picking up the movement of the Mount Pleasant players, but even so, getting on the ball. A lot of them, a lot of times, not really getting their heads to the ball.
Five players inside the box for Mount Pleasant. Devontae Campbell with the delivery again, and it's spilled by Bartlett, but he holds on to it. Now the second attempt sends this one long. Robinson was looking for some help. Takes the throw quickly, but not accurately. They'll have another opportunity though. Again, they move quickly. Webster earns his team a corner.
They're really not hanging on whenever they get the ball, Cavalier. One thought in their brain, and it's to get it forward as quickly as possible.
Well, he's snuck a yard right in front of the policeman. That's pretty dangerous. Anyway, corner kick.
Not on duty, the police.
Apparently not. Here it is at the back post, and Shaquan Davis comes out and holds on to it. Luckily, in the end, he's telling everyone else to relax.
He's taking a time to relax himself. Got away with that one.
Bailey, Doxley, Rankin now. We're hearing 4 minutes of stoppages to be played. Rankin again with a wonderful ball out wide, but a little bit too hot to handle for Bailey.
Rankin's such a smart player, I said. Doesn't have the legs to get about the park, but his positioning, his vision, and his execution of passes, so good. May not complete the game tonight, but certainly doing his part and putting in his shift to see if he can give them even some more lead going into this halftime break.
Hopeful ball looking for Colin Anderson. Tope is back there. Does well. Rankin looking to switch the play. McCleary does well to win it. Murray picks it up. Throw into Cavalier.
Coach Whitmore, we can see urging his team to just calm down, stay calm. Don't be flustered here.
Adrian Reed Jr. gets it back from Lang. Trying to find McCleary. Wasn't the best ball from him. Ming.
Judging by the lack of pressure from Mount Pleasant,
Ming goes long, too long.
they clearly just want to protect this lead going into halftime. I think that was the first time in this game, in the first half, that we've seen no Mount Pleasant players pressing any of the Cavalier centre-backs. And Shaquan Davis, I think, is just backing up exactly what I just said. A bit of time wasting towards the end of this first half.
Oh, that's a wonderful ball from Davis, you know. They move. Cavalier. Reed. Mount Pleasant with the possession again. James finding Devontae Campbell. Referee says play on. Doxley to Bailey.
I have to say this is good game management from Mount Pleasant, just keeping possession, not looking to go on to get a goal here. And they are wary of the threat Mount Pleasant poses with the counter-attack, and Colin Anderson is at the tip of the that team at the moment.
Challenge coming in hard there, but Cavalier still with the possession. Anderson trying to slip by Shaquille Dyer, you know. Davis has to hurry to clear. Was always under pressure from Ronaldo Robinson. Yellow card is shown to Shandy James. Goes for that late challenge. Reed, Murray, Irving now. Irving, oh, that had some pace on it, and Murray goes down. Well, he needs some attention, I think.
Bailey just want him to get up because they suspect that the halftime whistle is going to come any minute now. Doesn't want referee to add any more time on it, but also wants him to get up before anybody comes on so that he stays on the park and doesn't have to come off. If the physio does come on, he would have to come off the park.
Seconds remaining in this first half. Reed sends it across. It's headed away by Topi. Anderson tried to win that header. Davis holds on. That's the end of the first half in this Jamaica Premier League final. He wears the captain's armband now. He's leading the ship, the Mount Pleasant ship, to the promised land. They're seeking their first title, and they lead Cavalier by 1-0. He's been involved so far. He has not been involved as much as he would have liked, but he needs to lead the charge for Cavalier in the second half. Riddle Speed and his coaching staff, they have to talk it over, and they will in the interval. That's where we're at now in this JPL finale at Sabina Park. Mount Pleasant 1, Cavalier 0. Welcome back to Sabina Park for this Jamaica Premier League final. Mount Pleasant leading Cavalier by 1-0. Sule McCullough with the goal in the 8th minute of play. And with that, Mount Pleasant, they have the advantage heading into the second half. Chris Taylor is downstairs. Let's hear from him and what he thought of the first half.
Yeah, Donald, thank you. They're certainly in full control, Mount Pleasant, with that goal from Sule McCullough. The delivery from Devontae Campbell, excellent as well. But obviously, seeing the starting lineup with Colin Anderson and Ronaldo Robinson, the Mount Pleasant back line have done something very sensible. They have decided to sit deep, the likes of Dyer and company, so that they deny that ball over the top to Colin Anderson in space. The Ronaldo Robinson tactic from Rudolph Speed has not worked as well to add the additional space. And because Cavalier have lacked creativity, they just haven't been able to get anything going on the attacking side of things. It's been full control for Mount Pleasant within the middle of the park. The likes of Melvin Doxley, Shandy James coming into the starting lineup with Demario Phillips being out on cards. And that has worked beautifully for them as well. They've been able to play that tiki-taka football inside the middle and been able to drive forward at good pace in transition. Excellent stuff. And then using Bailey and Devontae Campbell in the wide areas. Full control for Mount Pleasant. They probably should have more than one goal to show for it. And especially in the front with Trevante Stewart and Devontae Campbell playing with Kimone Bailey. There's been quite a bit of rotation at times. So the Cavalier team uncertain in terms of which players to pick up at different times as well. Suggestion for Cavalier, they need more creativity. I think probably removing Ronaldo Robinson and bringing in the likes of Chanel Thomas, who can play with the ball, a good passer as well, might be a tactic for Cavalier. That's been their best moment, the pass over the top to McCleary. And yeah, unfortunately for Cavalier, just unable to get ahead on it. The 19-year-old probably not brave enough, but just one of those warning moments for Mount Pleasant. You would have to think from a Cavalier perspective, they probably will have joy attacking the left-hand side of the Mount Pleasant defense where Sule McCullough is. Yes, very experienced, but likes to get forward and not necessarily the quickest in getting back. Probably an area that Cavalier should look for exploit. But based on the first 45 minutes, Donald and company, I think Mount Pleasant will be happy with how they have been going and how they have constructed their play tactically. Ferguson and Whitmore have got it right. Work for Rudolph Speed to do, especially in the middle of the park, in terms of creating opportunities. Back to you guys for the second half.
I don't disagree with a word he said, Chris Taylor, in that analysis. Pretty much spot on. What do you think, Dwight?
And that's why he works for Sportsmax. He's that good, yeah. It's expert analysis there from Chris. And yeah, he's right. He's right. We don't need to go it over so much so. They've gotten it spot on. And it's down to Cavalier now to become a little bit more creative. Probably more rotation at the top of the park. I think players are sticking to their position somewhat in terms of who's wide, left and right, pretty much coming down that line. Not getting enough overloads in the wide areas as well for Cavalier. So there's going to have to be a little bit more creative. And when you have defense sitting deep, there's going to have to be more players in attack so you can have more link-up plays, one-touch, two-touch football to try and get through those lines. So let's see if they can do that in the second half.
Crowd pretty much settling back in their seats. Sabina Park is about 95% full, I think.
I know when we started you said, well, not quite up to the semi-finals in terms of the numbers. I think
no, it is past it now.
Yeah, yep, most definitely.
95%
and really a good look for Jamaica's football. Trust me, loving it, just loving it.
Those are probably the only empty seats in the house that we're seeing now.
But look at those standing.
Maybe they're going
right on the edge.
Maybe they went for to get something to eat or to the restroom, so maybe they're getting back up there.
Yeah, I think a lot of those people came down to see some of the halftime festivities.
Yeah.
A few artists gave a performance.
You went over there?
No. I'm a performer and I don't have to look at the performances.
You don't support your fellow performers?
But no, it's back to the football performances. Let's see if Cavalier can get back into the game. Let's see if Mount Pleasant can sustain their wonderful game plan so far. We know Speed is not going to sit by idle and let this happen. Let's see what this second half has in store.
If anything that we can say for Mount Pleasant in that first half that didn't go according to what they should is the fact that maybe they would love to lead by more than a goal.
Second half is on the way here at Sabina Park. Mount Pleasant will be kicking towards the Crossroads area, the New Kingston area. Cavalier, of course, in their whites, will be kicking towards the Caribbean Sea and to the downtown Kingston area. And McCullough, the goal scorer, is on it. Maybe we'll see a bit more pep in the step of this Cavalier unit. McCullough with some space to work with here. Ball played inside, and Stewart couldn't quite control. And now here's Webster over the top, looking for Colin Anderson. Anderson has Topi for company. And the challenge, you could see the challenge coming in from about a mile out. But the referee, I think he signaled for the free kick, right? Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he did.
Not for the first time. Another foolish challenge, I think, by Dyer in that instance. Colin Anderson had gotten the better of him pace-wise, but he really had nowhere to go but to pass the ball backwards. That's what you want, to shepherd him into a less dangerous area. But once he got there, he only had one thing on his mind, and it was to cut the big man down. And now he's gifted Cavalier a really good free kick opportunity to start the second half.
Here's the delivery towards goal, headed behind by Topi. Oh, he's been involved since he's been on the park, Jamoy Topi.
Yeah, both ends of the park. I think at one stage I saw Bartlett having a difficulty collecting the ball because Topi was towering in front of him. So height at the back, vital.
Ronaldo Robinson now on corner kick duties. Here comes delivery at the near post. Cleared away. And Trevante Stewart picks it up. Trevante Stewart driving forward. Trevante Stewart looking to beat a third, but the third was Ming. It was always going to be difficult.
I think it Bessie.
Long ball, but Davis is out of the area and does well.
Yeah, good anticipation from Davis, but I think on that breakaway, Stewart did as best as he could. He cut across the defender that was chasing him to get him out of the play, but Cavalier had really positioned themselves well, and he ran into two more defenders and one of the best of the lot, Ming.
Cheap foul given away by McCleary. Sabina Park is such an intimate setting. Of course, the cricketers love playing here at the Mecca, but it's an interesting cauldron for football as well. The majority of the fans, of course, behind the goal, but still very much close to the action.
Could, when you say cricketers, says including Dwight Jeremiah, who has played here, yeah, you could have included.
Well, they are cricketers and they are cricketers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, two pretty able cricketers in this commentary team only.
Thanks for the bailout, Lijay.
Here's Mount Pleasant going forward through McCullough, finding Shandy James now. James, again ambitious, not for the first time tonight. Theodore Whitmore was probably wondering what was that about. There's another goal in here, right? Surely. Late whistle on the play. Doxley was fouled.
You talk about another goal in it, Donald, but twice this season these two teams have ended 1-0 when they played out of 4, so quite possible that it could stay this way. Would love more.
Ball played out wide, looking for McCullough. A foot coming in from Adrian Reed, denying Mount Pleasant that opportunity there. Our good friend Gerard Morris Seeley just making me aware that Kensington Oval is the Mecca of West Indies cricket. I'm not arguing against it. I'm talking about the Mecca in the context of Jamaica's cricket. But he can wave that flag if he wants to.
To each his own. Yeah,
exactly. Corner kick to Mount Pleasant. Here it comes, and it's headed away. I felt that Bartlett probably could have collected that one. Comes back out to Devontae Campbell. Campbell, last touch off McCleary. Another corner kick to Mount Pleasant. What can they do with this? Mount Pleasant. This one, driven inside, had to be held on by Bartlett. There was a whistle on the play though. Anderson was stretching for it and couldn't quite get it.
Definitely not seeing a change in the intent from Cavalier. Still looking to get the ball from back to front as quickly as humanly possible.
What plans does he have with all speed? Rankin Wasn't on the same page with McCallum on that occasion. Clearance to Colin Anderson. Not given the room there to do what he would have wanted. Oh, well, they get away with that one, Mount Pleasant. Barely. And this is Kimoni Bailey now. Bailey, again, couldn't get by a second defender. Reed hasn't had the best game so far today. Ball over the top looking for Stewart. Bartlett right there. Webster. Fouled. Free kick to Cavalier. Irving now. Nicashe Murray. Murray's ball inside the area. Put out by Topi. Leng takes the throw himself. Reed. Again. His game has been off tonight.
Normally coaches go to their bench in the 60th minute on the hour mark. I think Coach Speed may not pass that. If not, I would have expected him to go a little bit earlier because time is running here. Enough time still in the game, but I feel he needs to twist someone.
Campbell. One thing for sure, we know that Speed isn't afraid to make the changes. But he needs to know the mentality of his players. Like even players who are having an off game, does he still keep them on in the hope that they can change it? Do they have that quality to change it? And does he have the confidence in them?
Or the confidence in the players on the bench as well.
That too. Campbell. Shandy James. Trevante Stewart turns and shoots wide of the mark. He is a striker after all.
Starve of opportunities. You feel that one is out of a little desperation because he hasn't had much sight of goal. And that was well wide, and even so, if had it been on target, you felt Bartlett would have had that one completely covered. Can't blame him for shooting. He's scored 18 times so far this season. A stretch of about 11 games.
But he's found confidence in this playoff, Trevante Stewart.
Yeah, you're right about that. When the season started, first 5 games he scored just 1 goal, and then the next 8 games 11 goals. Went on a bad run and then back in the purple patch now.
Craig Butler here looking on at the action, the man in charge of the Phoenix Academy. Anderson, oh, he waited too long. Murray winning the header, and Doxley with the interception. Shandy James now, and Kimoni Bailey. The service to the big strikers haven't been top notch from both teams, really.
No, not at all. And just with that play, the thought has crossed the mind a few moments before this. I mean, Topi there, yeah, didn't control that well enough. But I've seen glimpses here that maybe that's the player that Cavalier might want to target somewhat and get numbers up around him once he gets on the ball to pressure him. Because he's coming in not with a lot of confidence. As we can see the drummers going, and no doubt who they're supporting, all clad in blue, and they're Chanel Thomas we see getting up off the bench. So
yeah, he's been summoned.
Looking to twist here. But
Bailey on it. Lost possession. James gets it back. Ball sent out wide. He was more than thinking of the volley. He was going for it.
Well, he went for it.
His eyes really just light up anytime he's in anywhere in close proximity to the ball.
Wally Downs. Ian Goodison behind him as well, the former national defender. Goodison, Wally Downs, of course, the man who was formerly in charge of this Mount Pleasant team. Well, he's been hassling and almost won the possession there, Webster, but his team does get a throw. Takes it himself, McCleary. Headed away by Rankin. Len collects. Campbell with the clearance. Was Stewart held? According to the referee, yes. Second time Ming has fouled Stewart in the second half.
Yeah, probably just following coach's instructions, stay tight to him. Well, that was too tight. That was almost replacing his jersey. And we can see a little headbutt there, just trying to throw Stewart off. But Stewart doesn't shy away from the physicality, and he'll bring it to Ming. It's a one to watch going forward here.
Real waste there from Topi. I think probably could have been better served recycling the ball. They're the team in front. They're the team that has Cavalier under pressure. I think they need to take advantage of that a bit more, less of the long balls. Try and move around this Cavalier team.
Cavalier need to do the same as well, I think. Both teams just giving up possession cheaply. And again, nicely done. Trying to thread that one through. Ainsworth with Bailey for company. Irving, Robinson, Reed was looking for the foul, got it.
And it's Dyer again. I think we saw it earlier when he vacated the middle to go outside to really give some help. What he's not doing well is checking his run as he approaches the target. As a defender, you rush out, yes, you want to close down the space quickly, but as you approach those last 3 or 4 steps, you have to slow yourself and then get into your defensive stance. I think he's just rushing in. They say fools rush in, and haven't been beaten yet, but yeah, really giving up some cheap free kicks in the final third here.
The saying is fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
No, in football we say fools rush in.
Full stop.
And they get beaten.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So, as most friends, my name is Jeremiah, not biblical on this occasion.
You know,
yeah.
I expect you to live up to the name. Certainly not to lament.
Certainly Mount Pleasant isn't lamenting.
To Cavalier, Kadale Irving behind this, the 4-man wall set up. Irving straight into the wall. This game needs to pick up in quality, I suppose, soon enough. Mount Pleasant still dominating possession, 58% here. Referee says play on. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, if looks could kill.
Shaquan Davis almost created history for me. That would have been the biggest blunder I'd ever seen. But it's a corner for Cavalier.
Nikashe Murray to take this one. Cavalier still looking for that equalizer. 6 players inside the box. Leng misses that one. Well, it was well over his head, to be fair. Reed gets it. Forced to go wide. Loses possession. Referee says play on, and they do. Trevante Stewart on it. Just slowing down the play a bit as he gets some support.
I think Devontae Campbell went ahead of him and was begging for that pass to go through that half space so he could run onto it and cause some damage. So, yeah, we don't want to repeat the language here, but he's definitely telling Davis to just use your head a little bit more for me. Please, just be a little bit more stable. But I think there's something I want to point out here. I think 3 times I've seen Topi with a defensive header getting it wrong.
Here's Shandy James trying to play that one through to Stewart. Anderson winning the header for his team. And they've lost it in a dangerous area. This is Devontae Campbell. Campbell twisting, turning. And there was no teammate close to him. Oh, was that a late challenge? Referee turns his back. And McCleary is pulled by Ranking. He'll revisit that. Referee Nicholson. Play continues. It's Colin Anderson. Anderson trying to pull that one across, and Topi with a stretch. A vital interception there. And another stretch and another vital interception. Rankin on it. Devontae Campbell trying to get by Leng. Whistle on the play. And the yellow card is going to be shown to Giovanni Leng. And has he forgotten the incident from Rankin?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Rankin would be extremely lucky to escape one now as well.
I think Cavalier needs to remind him of it, but he's so far away from them. I mean, to make a noise about it, because yes, that was a sure yellow card. But yeah, the challenge here on Campbell, really poor, yeah. And easily stopping a promising attack.
Got the ball, but his studs were shown there, and McCleary was pulled by Rankin, who is lucky to have not been booked. Free kick to Mount Pleasant. Campbell delivers inside, and it's over the top. It was McCullough again.
Yeah, really not picking him up, not really dealing with him well. Cavalier. That was a good opportunity again. Just lost his marker. Has that ability, arriving late too, running from deep. So it's always difficult when you zonal mark because you're static and the player is running onto you, and you don't get that leap, that ability to stop them.
Interception by McCleary. Oh, nicely done. McCullough will hear about that for a while. Here they come. Cavalier. Robinson. Thinking of a shot. Takes the shot. It's high and wide. We saw something similar from him when he was representing Kingston College a few years ago in the Champions Cup final at the National Stadium. He was close to pulling it off again.
Yeah, certainly close to it. And again on the weaker right foot. Similar, just a little bit further out when he did it for Kingston College. I think you and I had a bird's eye view of it on the call on the day. It was spectacular, deserving of winning that game. And that, yeah, looking to execute again. Not too far off, but that's warning signs from him.
He had a quiet game in that final as well, Ronaldo Robinson.
Until that moment.
Until that moment.
And that's what you get. You ask a question about speed to keeping some players on when they're not doing well. When you have quality players, they just need a moment. And you know that at times that they can get that moment. And that's what you bank on as a coach. I've been there myself. Quality players on the park, not doing well, but you know, just one moment. And he could really come up with a moment of magic.
Trevante Stewart is down.
Hasn't come up with any magics today, Stewart. But we spoke about the unlikely years. There were 10 players ahead of McCullough. who had scored more goals than him. He was in the pack of 5 that has scored 1. He doubled his tally for the season, and that's why Mount Pleasant lead is 1 by a goal to 0.
Massive crowd over at the Campari party stand. Not quite partying, but they are observing this final. It's been a treat so far.
I guess from Whitmore's gesticulation there, I think he's telling McCullough, you do not need to go forward that much, because that move that left him on his backside, he was way off the pitch. Luckily that Mount Pleasant had players behind here. Whitmore doesn't want him to vacate that space down the line. You're leading as well, so he's saying to him, just keep behind the ball for the most part. Pass into your most creative players in the middle of the park. Let them do the work. And I think it'd be wise to do that.
Tafari Bygrave there amongst the substitutes warming up. George Davis, I'm sure, is explaining the ins and outs of football to Simone
Clark. Yeah, well, I'm sure she knows her football. I'm pretty certain she knows her football. Good to see them out and about.
First substitution now by Cavalier is going to be Nikashe Murray, making way for Chanel Thomas. That's definitely an offensive-minded change.
Indeed it is.
I think we're going to see more of probably a 3-4-3 diamond now. We're going to see Adrian Reed playing right in front of the 3 defenders. Wing backs stay where they are. Chanel Thomas playing a little bit behind what would be a strike trio. Same one which started the game.
Well, Chanel Thomas hoping to add something to this Cavalier team as they try to get the equalizer. Here's Webster. It took so long to find Anderson, but play continues and they're appealing for a challenge which may have taken place on the edge of the box, and the referee says so, or just outside the area.
But what sort of card will the referee dish out here? Was that a clear goal scoring opportunity?
Well, McCullough was right there, you know.
And I think that would have saved him.
Yeah, and I think there was a defender retreating. There were 3v3. But I spoke moments ago that Tope is that person that I feel just is that weak person in this back line. He came in not with a confidence, but even the headers that he's been playing, not getting purchase on his defensive header. I'm not sure he really had planned to come into this game today, but he's there and he's going to have to get the mettle, the mindset to really deal with this. It's the first time that Cavalier really has had even numbers going at this back line. And it was a poor giveaway up the field that caused that for Mount Pleasant. The alarm bells were ringing and might just yet still be ringing.
Who's going to be taking this free kick to try and get the better of Shaquan Davis in goal? Davis is now organizing his ball. Ronaldo Robinson is there. Adrian Reed Jr. is also there. But that's a massive wall to try and get over, and then under the bar to get by the massive Shaquan Davis. All the best, guys. Let's see what will take place here. It's a 5-man wall set up by Davis. There needs to be some power behind it. Cavalier looking for the equalizer here. Will it be Reed? Will it be Robinson? It's Robinson, and the wall did its job.
Yeah, I felt initially that maybe they needed to shift and create a better angle at goal. But I think Mount Pleasant realized what they were about to do where that was concerned and just dragged the player back.
McClear sends it inside looking for Anderson. And Bailey gets a vital touch away from Irving, who comes back, recovers well. Bailey now looking for options, finding his striker Trevante Stewart. Stewart with the dink, too much on it. McCleary. Doxley. Campbell. Here, the Whitmore is absolutely animated on the sidelines. I've never seen him this animated. Oh, yeah, all of them are bumped.
Doxley getting the rod from Whitmore. I think they're again saying to him, you need to stay in the middle of that park. You need to be central. Where were you on that play just now on the break? You are expected to be in that middle there to shield this back line. And maybe with the coming in of Topi, you wanted that shielding himself and Rankin. Rankin does not have the legs to be there. He wants Doxley to be that man, to be ever present in front of that back four.
6-3-1-0 KE Toyota Axia. You need to remove your vehicle. That's 6-3-1-0 KE Toyota Axia.
Certainly Whitmore wouldn't want to give it away here. It's a tight contest. And if Cavalier were to get a goal, you feel maybe the tide would just change. The old cliche in football, goal, what a goal does. Goals really make a huge difference.
They're going to make a couple of changes. Ricardo Morris coming on, Jordan Fletcher coming on as well.
And in terms of quality, changes don't get much better than that across this league. One of those substitutes, Ricardo Morris, has won this league on 2 occasions previously. He'll be itching to contribute to doing it yet again. He's lost his place in the team recently due to probably just a lack of hard work, a lack of patience in the middle. But what he does have is experience and a bucket load of quality, Ricardo Morris. Cavalier need a bucket load of quality right now.
Not with that play, but they do have a throw. They have 15 plus minutes here to get something, to get at least a goal. Mount Pleasant, I think they're holding off on the change until after this. It's a long throw taken by Cavalier. He tries to hit it on the volley. Reed didn't make much of a connection. And the two 25s clash. Shandy James earning the free kick. And now the changes will be made. Devontae Campbell, his day is up. Fletcher will replace him. Shandy James has put in a really good shift. He comes off and is replaced by Ricardo Morris.
I think what Theodore Whitmore is suggesting here with these two substitutions is that not about looking to keep what he has in terms of putting reinforcement in front of that back line. He feels if Doxley is disciplined enough to stay in there, he feels the next goal. He wants to defend this by getting another goal. And sometimes, often they say again in football, the best form of defense is attack, and give Cavalier a lot to think about going the other way.
Thomas finds the turf again. Cavalier needing to show a little bit more urgency here. Ming. Well, urgency and quality.
Trying to go from back to front a little bit too quickly there, too direct with their play.
There isn't much in terms of midfield for them to work through. So I think that substitution taken off Nico Shea Murray was with those long balls in mind. But at what cost?
And needing quality with those passes as well.
Fletcher sends it wide. Bailey on it. Gets a return ball. Was there a handled ball from Leng? The crowd thinks so.
It's worth having a look at that one again.
No.
Not conclusive on
No.
that one.
Bailey trying to get by McCleary. Leng with a long throw. For Mount Pleasant, they get it back. Bailey. Well, as it stands, Colin Anderson is set to win the Golden Boot this season, but he's on the losing side at the moment.
Yeah, I was about to say the game was so gripping that we've all forgotten about the Golden Boot race, but didn't help by these two strikers being muzzled today, being really kept quiet. And there again, Whitmore saying, look, stay central, left and right, just do not go too far outside. I used to tell my defensive midfielder, 5 yards of that center circle, do not vary too far outside of that. The ball doesn't have a string on it that is short, and you can't get it.
The Sportsman's App moment is the moment of the game so far from Sule Makata, his second goal this season. Fine finish, fine header. He's been here before. We've seen him doing it in the past for United, and he wants this title for the team from Runaway Bay. And that's the Sportsman's App moment of the game so far.
But it will be the Sportsman's App moment because that's what we've had, but it's not necessarily the moment of the game, but certainly has made the girls happy, which we saw in that clip there.
McCalla. Stewart trying to win that one, but illegally so. We've seen this game how he can be a handful, Trevante Stewart. Jordan Fletcher. Stewart is onside. The flag stays down. Trevante Stewart on his left. It's blocked. He looked almost weary as he went forward on that occasion, the striker.
I was about to say, did that in slow motion.
Morris. Ball played inside to Trevante Stewart. And too much of a second touch there. No issues for Bartlett. Cavalier will be making a couple of changes. Ronaldo Barrett coming on, Dwayne Allen also coming on for Cavalier. The youngster Adrian Reed will have better games. A learning curve for him this season. Barrett replaces him.
While those changes happening, Leonardo Rankin needed some assistance. Surprised he's been in the game as long as he has Rankin. Usually he's out of it by now.
Yeah, that's true. The second change, by the way, is Allen coming on for Ronaldo Robinson.
Yeah, so the experiment with Robinson really didn't come up for speed tonight. Really looking to create distractions for Mount Pleasant, for them to having to deal with him and probably leave Colin Anderson free there. That was never going to happen, but the fact that they did that, he was hoping that Ronaldo Robinson would have been able to be potent, lethal enough to take advantage of that attention given to Anderson. That didn't materialize either. Rankin here, getting a lot of water, maybe just trying to refuel himself.
Leng looking to deliver, deflected inside, still in the area. It's a chance. Anderson! Colin Anderson, the gem of the Cavalier season, gets his 20th goal this season. He has been locked out all game, but there he was on the doorstep to deliver for Cavalier again. And the equaliser, crucial in this JPL final. We're at 1-1.
Yeah, certainly 1-1. We talk about the tide changing if a goal were to come, and who best to do it? Yes, he has delivered. He's the big man for them, but Mount Pleasant never dealt with it well. Cavalier met that first ball, and they've been getting to that second one. Poor clearance from Dyer, and once it fell off his boot, Anderson was quickest to react to this one. And the expert finisher that he has become, you can't give him that time and space. No chance for Davis in goal with Anderson from such close range. He's an expert finisher, and he was right here at the right time, right moment to gobble up any spills, and that was a spill from Mount Pleasant and made into a goal by Colin Anderson.
He just started playing football in 2017, Colin Anderson, 1 year of Manning Cup, and look where he's at now, at the top of the goal scorers charts, his 20th this season. Took the opportunity when he came.
He only needed a touch. Colin Anderson, number 20 for the season. But more importantly, he has drawn Cavalier level in this JPL final. We have a serious game on our hands now. Donald, you said that there was another goal in this one. It has come.
Mount Pleasant, they were close. Approximately 7 minutes away.
And it's been years ago that their skipper had to vacate the field in Ladale Ritchie. And maybe, just maybe, they're paying for that because he's an organizer. He's one that normally gets his head onto those balls coming into the box. Would have made a good clearance. Not there. And he can't do anything to affect this game. So it's as we were at the beginning. They must both go again.
Ball over the top again, looking for Anderson. Anderson has some support and gets it. He fires that one straight to Shaquan Davis. Ainsworth with the effort here. The game is stretched now. Not committing a lot forward. They don't want to be caught on the break again, Mount Pleasant. Rankin finding McCullough. McCullough sends it inside, way over the head of Stewart.
Well, he has to go again with more on his team, because this man has dragged Cavalier back into it. So often this season he has been the man that they have turned to, and McCullough has company in tonight's game. He's not the lone goal scorer. Colin Anderson has joined him. But where will the winner come from tonight? Trevante Stewart is yet to have his say. Will he?
I think Jaden White actually picked up a yellow card. in the celebration of that Cavalier equalizer. Three minutes to go, plus any time added for stoppages. We may be heading to extra time.
One thing is for sure, both these two teams know what it is to score late goals. Both in those 4 meetings prior to this one registered 1-0 win, which came after the 90th minute. Topi and Irwin, both
still on the park, along with other big name players like Stewart, trying to win that one from McCleary and couldn't on that occasion. Ranking on it. Morris. Ricardo Morris. Corner kick to Mount Pleasant. They've been having trouble defending corner kicks all evening, Cavalier. Can they withstand this one? To confirm, Jaden Wright did get the yellow card for excessive celebration. Here's a corner kick for Mount Pleasant. It's a good delivery! He's done it again! Sule McCullough has done it again! He's wearing the captain's armband, and he is the chosen one, surely, for Mount Pleasant. That's his second goal in this final, his third this season. He has saved his best game for last. And is that the clincher? Is that the one to give Mount Pleasant their first title?
Well, for Cavalier, it's deja vu, almost a mirror image, a replica of the first. He rose eyes, and no one, just no one would get into his way. That run to the near post, perfectly executed by Morris, right on his head at that near post. Colin Anderson trying to do his best to keep company with him, but McCullough says, I stand alone, I am the man, I am the skipper here, and he has made the Gulls happy the second time around. I don't want to think what he might get for that, but certainly, he is the man, and a big moment for him.
He took over the captain's armband midway through the first half after scoring the first goal. And in the second half, he has led from the front. And for that corner kick, he rose highest. He wanted it most. And he has fired Mount Pleasant into the lead yet again with his head.
Sule McCullough, a half a decade at Mount Pleasant. He's been with them from the start of their journey for this most prestigious title. And now he has put them oh so close to touching their dream. Oh so close to lifting their first. The entire parish of St. Anne, they have come to Sabina Park for this moment. And will they now be able to celebrate? Cavalier still looking for the equalizer again. And Shaquan Davis will hold on for dear life.
Mind I remind the viewers as well that it may not yet be over. I spoke about the scoring after 90 minutes. These two teams would have been able to do that, and they've had a 2-2 draw already this season in round 17.
McCullough told the Jamaica Observer, going into the final, I just told my teammates to keep a cool head as the job is not yet finished. We have to double our efforts, and the most difficult game is yet to come. It's been a difficult one, but they now lead it by 2-1, and we have 8 minutes of stoppages to play.
He wanted his teammates to double their efforts. He certainly doubled his, and he scored a crucial
Ball
double
played
here.
inside, looking for Anderson, couldn't quite control. The clearance made by Mount Pleasant to the edge of the box. They hack it out of their own half. Anywhere will do.
It's a long time though, and it will come back at them.
Thomas trying to nut it inside. Not the most convincing clearance. Leng is up there. Again, another booted clearance. Can they do this for the next 6.5 minutes?
Well, they'll have to try and do it. It's Topi again with a missed time clearance. Also, Dyer, who was culprit with that equalizer. They have to do better, those two.
Ball coming inside the area. Cavalier, I suspect they will dominate the majority of the possession here in the remaining few minutes of this one. A change is going to be made by Mount Pleasant. Last season's leading goal scorer is set to make his way onto the park for Trevante Stewart. He ends this campaign without adding to his 18 in this final, but he has been their most valuable player, Trevante Stewart, and he takes his rest for the season.
Yeah, certainly the most valuable player, and a riches, a luxury that you can bring on last season's leading goal scorer for the man in second place this season. That was a tactical move from...
He goes long, he goes over the top, Rankin, that would have been spectacular.
It's on a knife edge, Donald, it's on a knife edge. They're celebrating, Cavalier, praying, hoping, sending their prayers up. I'm not sure there's a courier service quick enough to take it to the ears of the Lord, but who knows.
Cavalier looking for the equalizer still. It's with Ronaldo Webster. Webster can't get by two. Bailey again will hack it upfield. A tap for or Ricardo Morris will have it now. Bygrave making a run inside the area. Morris will slow the play down. Smart from the veteran.
He said that he knows what it takes to win. And it's something like that, winning that fall there.
Oh,
they're 5 minutes away now.
They are ecstatic.
You say he knows to win, he also knows how to be a good cheerleader, and he's really getting the stadium rocking, because the Sea of Blue is really going at it here. Mount Pleasant, they have 11 on the park, and they're dominating there, but they're also dominating the 12-man position in the stands.
Eating up a few more precious seconds. Fletcher has done well. Bailey will get there. Morris.
I tell you what, Bailey has come into review here. Hasn't been the most prolific, or going forward hasn't really added a lot attacking wise, but I tell you what, he has done his job. Started out on the same side as well as Ronaldo Robinson, had to play a little bit deeper to deal with that threat, and in this game has really helped out the fullback.
Bygrave sliding in. It's a free kick to Cavalier. They have 3 minutes to hold on. Topi was looking for the free kick, gets it. They are even closer now. Mount Pleasant, they can feel it, they can taste it.
I suspect, Donald, that the way they're behaving here, the spectators, the supporters, the fans of Mount Pleasant, I'm veering my way to Trelawney tomorrow. I have to pass through St. Anne. I suspect that I'll go into a motorcade at some point tomorrow, the first for the parish, and a long wait for them. The celebrations, I suspect, will go long into the night if they were able to continue and go over the line. And I tell you, yeah, the pitch here, we see a lot of green grass on this pitch. It could be all blue at the end of this whistle. Not encouraging them to go there, but you know,
I don't think they have enough security forces here to block this crowd of at least 11,000, maybe more, inside Sabina Park. Well, so many names have listed this title. Santos, Arnett Gardens, Cavalier, Tivoli Gardens, Boys Town, Jamaica Defence Force, Montego Bay United, or SIBA as they were known first, Wadada, Reno, Portmore United / Hazard United, Violet Kickers, Waterhouse, and the most recent Harbour View. Mount Pleasant looking to become the 14th team to be the national champions on this rock. They are close.
And Donald, I remember early in the season you said the addition of those 12 players to Mount Pleasant brought not just skill and quality, but the ability to the graph result, to grind it out.
There it is! That is the final whistle! They are known for sea and sand. They are known for the wind and the waves. And now the parish of St. Anne will be known as the home of the Jamaica Premier League champions. Runaway Bay, they have it. Peter Gould has it. Trevante Stewart has it. And Mount Pleasant, for the first time, will celebrate a JPL crown. Magnificent scenes here at Sabina Park. They have waited for so long. The mandate was to win, and to win at all costs, and that they have. Because in the end, the trophy goes back to the guarded parish, and they will bloom in Kingston tonight. What a win for Mount Pleasant this season.
Yeah, excellent win. I did predict on Friday on the Sportsman show that there certainly would be a 2-1 or 3-2 win for Mount Pleasant. I just felt they were on the eye. The statisticians would say even. I say on the eye, the eye test, they were just ahead of Cavalier. And for me, yes, worthy champions tonight on the evidence of what we saw, or what we saw before us tonight. And the project, you feel with all that has been given to this project, this is the time for them to bloom. It's fitting that Mount Pleasant adds and becomes the 15th team, as you said, Donald, to lift the title here in the Jamaica Premier League, Leger.
It was a long season filled with ups and downs for Mount Pleasant. They tried. They had dips in form, they had upturns in form, but that most specific upturn in form has come at the perfect time. They beat the regular season champs in Iron Guns in the semis. They beat the team that came in second in the regular season in the final. Mount Pleasant have come to the fore, and they have done what champions do, and they have won. They have provided their fans with this moment in the pivotal time. Look at what it means, not only to the fans, to the players, everyone. These are absolute scenes. Peter Gould has invested so much of his time, of his money, of his resources into this club. And in 5 short years, it has borne enormous fruit. Seven short years, it has borne enormous fruit.
Yeah, certainly, Leger. It seems here. In coming up today, I said I passed a lot of supporters in St. Anne, and they really made their way here. You talk about the ups and downs between round 17 and round 22. They did not win a game. 4 draws and 2 losses coincided with a dip in form for Trevante Stewart, who just scored 2 goals between round 14 and round 25. But they have come back at the right time, peaking at the right time, and certainly coming to the fore at the right time. This is Mount Pleasant at their best, lifting the title. In short order, they will pick it up literally, but they are Jamaica Premier League champions for 2023.
Well, the pitch invasion was almost inevitable. We reckoned that there wasn't enough security personnel to stop what we are seeing here, but this is something that we haven't seen before. Mount Pleasant celebrating a national title. As we take a look at the full-time highlights here, and Mount Pleasant with a lot of the possession, a lot of the running. Trevante Stewart did let one fly pretty early in this piece. No issues there for Vina Bartlett. but there were issues there. What a header that was from Sule McCullough. It was his second goal this season, and he guided that one home. They kept going forward, Mount Pleasant. Stewart feeding Rankin, couldn't quite get over it, went too much under it, and he skied it. This one punched away, and Stewart running onto that one. It was a lovely ball to Devontae Campbell. Campbell, though, should have done better. Bartlett recovering after coming off his line, and then this big opportunity. Lovely ball to McCleary. Couldn't get a proper header on that, and the flag stayed down against Trevante Stewart, who fired that one straight to Bartlett, who had to hold on to this one at the second attempt. James to Stewart, turning and shooting wide of the mark. Didn't have a lot of power behind it as well. And Ronaldo Robinson, his effort just wide of the mark. Cavalier kept pushing, kept fighting, and they would eventually get the equalizer. Shaniel Thomas with the assist. Colin Anderson with his 20th goal this season. The first Jamaican striker in the Premier League to get 20 goals since Craig Foster did it in the 2014-2015 season. And he got the equalizer. It was a timely one, and probably they thought they could have got this to extra time. A real poacher, Colin Anderson, and he will go on from strength to strength here. But the celebrations were wild for Cavalier with that equalizer. But the winner from McCullough, what a goal that was. Deja vu in the 89th minute, his second of the night from McCullough, his third this season. They couldn't stop him, and they can't stop him. Mount Pleasant with the victory, with their first Jamaica Premier League title. They had 16 shots, 6 on target. Cavalier had 12 shots, 3 on target. Both of them committed 9 fouls, and a couple of yellow cards shown to each team as well. 8 corner kicks to Mount Pleasant, 2 more than Cavalier. Mount Pleasant, of course, with the majority of the possession at the end, 60%.
Sule, what a performance. Congratulations on the victory. Do you ever dream that you would score a brace in the final to lift the title for Mount Pleasant?
Well, before the game, you know, I tell the masseur that I have 2 goals, one in the top goal and one in the other one. So it was planned.
You did an interview earlier as well with the Jamaica Observer, and you spoke about the fact that you felt that now that you're here, you just needed to keep a calm head and you would get the job done for your club. Did you have any doubt?
No, we didn't have any doubt, because we know our quality and we know want to play our game. You know, we're on the right track to win.
And to carry the captain's armband as well, that must be a great joy for you, to lead this team to victory.
Well, definitely, you know, that's what I came out here to do, and I did it. I lead by example, and I put my team on the forefront.
24 goals in your Premier League career. Is there any more important than those 2 you did tonight?
Well, no.
I know you've won the Premier League obviously before at Portmore United, but what does this mean considering Mount Pleasant had never won before?
Well, this means a lot. This means a lot. This is history, and this will go down as a legacy tonight. Yeah?
Go enjoy with your team. Congratulations, all the best. Enjoy. Sule McCullough there, the man of the match. A brace for Mount Pleasant, wearing the captain's armband as well. And he will receive his award as well, trophy, as well as goodies in the bag from Digicel. Proud moment for Sule McCullough, Premier League winner when he was at Portmore United, and now doing it again. One of the senior players in this Mount Pleasant team, who have been in the Premier League since 2018, and finally a team from the parish of St. Anne can lift a Premier League title. More prizes and surprises for him coming in. This on behalf of Sportsmax as well. Sule McCalla. Rudolph Speed is now with me. Rudolph, tough night for Cavalier, but you fought right till the end, even with adversity. And at one stage, you thought you might have taken it into extra time. Talk me through the match.
Oh yeah, I thought if we had gone to extra time, we would have taken over because they had to be making a lot of changes. The quality was going down. But stranger things have happened. But two-headed goal by Sule, I wouldn't have dreamed that would happen.
It seemed like a master stroke at first when you left those substitutions so late. But yet they came in and impacted the game within 5 minutes. Chanel Thomas and company, Dwayne Allen and so on. And it was actually Thomas's assist that led to the Colin Anderson goal.
Oh yes, that was what we planned. Because we thought, you know, we didn't want to give it away early, so we make sure it stay at 1. Then we tried our best to get on even terms, which we did. Just unfortunate at the end, we wasn't able to hold on to the extra time.
Talk to me about the season of your main marksman as well. He got to that 20 goal mark. We haven't seen that since 2014, Craig Foster from Reno. How big an achievement is that?
Well, that's a big achievement. He's the third person in 20 years I've gotten to the 20. So while we're happy for him, I'm sure he would have swapped that for us winning the title.
Of course, he looked very disappointed. More football still for you. You still qualify now for the CONCACAF Club Championship. How do you go about preparing for that, and how big a deal is that for Cavalier to perform in on the regional level?
Yeah, we're preparing for that, but we have some issues because about, say, 7 players will go back to school, so we'll have to rebuild again.
And if you were to give me a total assessment of the Jamaica Premier League this season for Cavalier, how would you put it?
It's probably our best season in terms of consistency. We're second. We scored a lot of goals. We're always in the hunt for the title, so I think it's one of our best seasons.
All right, Rodolphe, we look forward to you continuing to build this Cavalier team. All the best in the future.
All right, thank you.
Rodolphe Speed on the losing end today. But yeah, no shame in the performance. And the two men at the helm of Mount Pleasant's technical staff come into play. Theodore Tapper-Whitmore and Davian Ferguson. Gentlemen, congratulations on the win. How does it feel?
Well, words can't explain at the moment, you know. We set out on a journey, you know, and we have completed the journey this afternoon, you know, so I'm very proud of the team, the technical staff, the medical staff, the auxiliary staff, you know, the management, everyone.
Tapper, you did it as a player, obviously, when you were at Violet Kickers. You've now done it as a manager at the Premier League level. How different is that, a feeling or a responsibility for you?
Well, both, you know, because you have to take responsibility. You know, it's a tough season. We went through a lot. The road wasn't easy, but, you know, we fought here and there, you know, till we finally did it this afternoon.
David, I'm going to bring you into the frame now a bit. Working as the assistant under Theodore Whitmore, you have done it at the schoolboy level. How different a level is this at the Premier League, and how is it working with not only Tapper but the rest of the Mount Pleasant team?
It's different, but it's similar because winning championship is just the same. The difference is that you're dealing with professional players. Most of them are adults, so sometimes they can be a little bit on the difficult side. But I think for the most part it was good. Working with Coach Whitmore, we have been working on for a very long time, behind the scenes, but finally we get to work together. It's wonderful. The partnership is great.
And I was about to say, obviously there's other persons, Warren Barrett and so on, in the lineup as well. But the chemistry between you two, like, we can see you on the sideline, is obviously excellent. How important is that? Obviously two different minds, maybe different tactics at times, but coming through with one decision at the end of it.
It's very easy, to be honest with you. This doesn't start at Mount Pleasant, you know? Not coming from Mount Pleasant. We worked before. I know what Davian can do. I know what Davian can contribute to football in Jamaica. But it's like we have to come here and come to Mount Pleasant. We have nothing to prove. Nothing we have to prove, you know?
And the support from the Gould family and so on at the helm of the club. How important was that for the club this season, and how good is that?
Very important, man. And this is just the beginning of more trophy to come. A lot more.
I must ask both of you now, you go on now to the club championship. You must be looking forward to that format now, a regional tournament. Can Mount Pleasant represent Jamaica well?
I think the most important thing now is to just enjoy this moment, celebrate, and then we try to assess and then we prepare ourselves for that. But definitely, we will be a force to reckon within the club championship.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations. We're going to let you go and celebrate with your team and get your trophy and medals. All the best. Excellent performance. Congratulations.
Well, The presentation will take place in short order. But these are some scenes here. And Mount Pleasant, they now have their prize.
Yeah, big prize as well for Mount Pleasant, as you hear Theodore Whitmore, Vivian Ferguson, how much it means to them. And yes, he said they have nothing to prove, but they really wanted to go there and succeed. And fourth coach in the last 4 years, they've chopped and changed, but this now looks like a winning formula. He says there's a lot more to come, and I wouldn't doubt him, because there's a lot of quality on the park, and I don't doubt that they have the resources to bring in more quality as well, and to take Mount Pleasant on the regional scene is something that I'm pretty sure the owners are delighted with, because this is a project that they don't want to be confined to Jamaica. They want to spread it to the region and show that in this Caribbean you can really have a massive project, and a good one as well. A lot of resources, finances being pumped into it, and we see them there among the fans, among the coaches and players. The owners just wanted to continue to show their support, not just financially but physically. The goal is that every game before this season you'd see him on the bench as well.
On the sidelines, right.
Yeah, and sitting on the bench even before. So he loves football, he's integral in it. And but one thing though, he knows to allow the technical people to do their job and not just bearing down on them but supporting them from a distance.
Leger, it is a moment to remember for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, it's historic for them. Their very first trophy as a team, as a club. They did a lot to get here. People love to talk about the investment that a team puts in, but investment alone doesn't win trophies. There still needs to be a togetherness. There still needs to be a love amongst the team. And most importantly, there still needs to be a holistic team there to carry out the coach's instructions. And what must be said is that they carried out the coach's instructions, especially in the semi-final and in the final, to a T. And no one can argue that they didn't thoroughly deserve this trophy.
Just a shot of Wally Downs there. He would have been in charge of Mount Pleasant and would have been unsuccessful in his attempt to actually win this title. But he's still very much a part of the infrastructure of the team from Stush in the Bush. And he will be pleased, and he looks pleased with the outcome here tonight at Sabina Park.
Yeah, he's still the technical director for the academy, and as such continue to blood new talents. I see an advertisement with them going for new talent now, on a recruit for new talent, new young talent between the age of 11 and 15. So they continue their march on to dominate Jamaica's football. And we talk about the coaches, the goals, but there's a lot behind the scene as well. They do a lot of they have a lot of staff up there. Visited there a couple of times. The nutritional program, the recovery program, state-of-the-art technology to get them ready up and about for other games. Just the regular teachers there as well, as a complete project, and a lot going on behind the scene. So to see them win here, there's a lot that has gone on in the last 7 years. From Stush in the Bush when they took over to Mount Pleasant Football Academy, they've now risen to the pinnacle of Jamaica's football, and no one can begrudge them for that. Not just with the investment, but really they have been in the playoffs every season that they've been in the Premier League.
And let's talk about Cavalier for a little bit. Leger, of course, they would have been going through a lot of adversity in recent weeks. They had their phones and equipment stolen right here during the link-up final, and they'd had to overcome that and overcome a mental block, you'd think, to come out here for this final and try and win it for their fans. But in the end, they fell just short.
Yeah, Rudolph Speed was quick to say a couple weeks ago about how successful on a club perspective Cavalier has been this season. All 4 competitions that they have taken part in both men and women, they have gone to the final, but unfortunately for them, all 4 of those finals they have lost. The women lost yesterday in their competition. The men have now lost 2 finals as well. So although there has been a lot of progress from Cavalier as a club, they're still falling short. But they're falling short to a really good Mount Pleasant team. I don't think there's any shame there, and they will be bouncing back really well next year. They lost 2 of their best players during the season. And I think with those two players, it would have been a completely different contest. But alas, there's no room for hypotheticals. And the absolute is that Mount Pleasant are champions, and they'll celebrate long into the night and beyond that.
The officials pretty accurate in this final, although they sold us a minute short in stoppage time. I think that's the only blemish I can remember. They did
and made me miss a yellow card
to Rankin.
But I don't think that affected. Well, the minute short, it only takes seconds for goals to score. So yeah, and you want a minimum off, and he did put up 8. They went below that. But as we see the referees, they're getting their medal. They did well. They did well. And they allowed the game to flow. And the fact that we have not mentioned referees, they say if you want to know if a referee or referees have, or the officials have had a good game, it's when you finish the game and you really didn't talk much about them.
Well, Cavalier FC should be presented with their medals first. But we don't see any sign of them. But the next presentation, of course, is for the MVP of the final, Sule Makala. He's a big game performer. He really is a big game performer, Sule Makala. Real Speed said it best. 2 headers from Sule Makala in a final. You didn't really account for that.
And they were mirror image of each other, Donald. For Cavalier will be beating themselves that they allowed him the amount of space on 2 occasions. But one of the persons who came into this game that wasn't at the top of the list as possible match winner, but he rose highest, literally, with those 2 goals, and figuratively as the team's top player in this final.
Opportunity of the final.
He's going to remember this night for a really long time, Sule Makala. His performances, his goals.
Good thing it's not a fake one. He'll hold this one for weeks.
2023, the team that visited the winners' podium in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together.
Here's the Cavalier team to collect their runners-up medals. They can be proud of their efforts, even in the midst of adversity. Of course, they'll be disappointed now. Led by Bartlett and Ming and Irving and company. Remember that they would have lost Dwayne Atkinson and Richard King, and they, in my opinion, would have formed part of the spine of this Cavalier team. But they're always rebuilding, even mid-season.
Yeah, it's the model that Coach Speed has adopted over the years, and yeah, they've lost quality at both ends of the park. And when you have that, then it's always going to be difficult. But give them credit. I mean, the average age of the team so low. The fact that they've made 2 finals. They say people don't normally remember the losers or the second place, but history will absorb them. Yes, they will be documented as doing so well in both knockout competitions. A young team. And as you said, they'll always be rebuilding, which is the challenge that he faces. So you can't just say, well, come next season, they'll be much better for the experience. But some will be around. And the key for him is to continue to mix those youthfulness with some experience that these players are gaining at the moment.
The top scorer in the league, 20 goals, collecting his medal. And Jadine White as well. First player since the 2014-15 season to score 20 goals in a season, but he doesn't win the top prize. But he's going to bounce back though. Colin Anderson.
I did say it in our commentary that in Colin Anderson, Coach Speed can look at a player that he could see the rise. His work is exemplified by Anderson in terms of when he started, what he has become over the years, his development to the point now where he is top scorer with 20 goals, just the third player to do that in top flight in Jamaica. It says a lot about him, and that comes down to sheer desire and hard work and believe in oneself. And certainly he will continue to torment defenders, and he will take that on the regional stage, and I'm pretty sure he will do well at that level.
Silver medals for Cavalier. They were champions 2 seasons ago in a truncated season, but now they are runners-up. Little to smile about, but they should still be proud of their campaign, which ended tonight with a second place finish. Presentation of runners-up medals is almost a formality these days because the party will begin now.
Certainly, and nobody wants to really put a silver medal around their neck in the football. It's what it is. But they'll look back at it when the dust settles. A lot of times you will look back and, yes, disappointed that you didn't win the big one, but will feel a sense of accomplishment and pride that you were able to dance on the big stage, the big moment once again.
Michael Ricketts, the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, will be handing out the medals to the championship team, Mount Pleasant. And here comes the champions. The championship side led by Ladale Ritchie. Could only play 25 minutes in the final. By the time he left the field, his team was in front by a 0-0. But they really invested in their squad this season, Mount Pleasant. About 15 new players throughout the entire season. They got about 12 in pre-season in the summer transfer market. But I always mention it had to be the right combination. It had to be that specific quality of player which they got. They got a few from Dunby Holden who had shown fight last season. And of course, Trevante Stewart leading their charge this year.
Yeah, and he led it so well, so well. His goals, as I said, came in patches, but when he is in a purple patch, he's literally unplayable, unstoppable. Tonight he didn't score. He did contribute a lot, dropping into those pockets. Fletcher there, embraced by the Jamaica Football Federation President Ricketts. This man was really a tower of strength for them in the playoffs. 4 goals in the playoffs, saved them against Dunby Holden in that first leg. Get that goal that kept them on level peggings to go into that second leg to dominate. And here, standing at the top of the podium. And in their midst, and we'll see him come up later, I'll wait for that. But this man collected the Golden Boot Award last year. I'm pretty sure this medal means a lot more to him this time around.
Part of a team, part of a championship winning squad. Demario Phillips would have been gutted to miss the final due to yellow card accumulation we're hearing.
Yeah, it's
still trying to work that out.
1 yellow card in each semi-final. It's 2 at this level. Normally it's 3 in the regular round. I don't know how you change that at this stage of it. And the game was robbed of a good talent, but Mount Pleasant never suffered because they have a wealth of talent.
No, they didn't suffer at all. They actually did really well through Shandy James, his direct replacement. You can see him there at the back in the number 25, but this is the man of the moment, Sule Makala, MVP of the final.
You almost forgot about Harvey.
Almost. Alwyn Harvey, yes.
Good player as well. You look at those players and they can't make the squad. It's massive. But yeah, Makala is one of the most versatile players I've seen in the Premier League over the last 3 seasons. Played in almost every position. This man wasn't spoken about tonight a lot on the attacking end, but he did a job for his team on the defensive side of the game, and to really not allow Rudolph Speed's experiment with Ronaldo Robinson to really bear fruit.
And now time for the coaching staff to get their medals, led by Theodore Whitmore. They have quite a few winners in the coaching staff as well. Warren Barrett, of course, a national goalkeeper who would have played alongside Theodore Whitmore at the 1998 World Cup in France, gets his medal tonight as well. And that is a massive coaching staff and technical staff for Mount Pleasant. This is what they've wanted for a while. And now it's the perfect combination to produce a perfect night for them.
Yeah, when they came up to the Premier League, Paul Teague-Davis was there, and when they were in Tier 2 and the playoff, they came second, promoted to the Premier League back in 2018, 2019. Dookie came in, didn't do the job. Whitmore held on for a while in 2020. Wally Downs came in 2021. Fell short. Theodore Whitmore and his crew delivered the prize. A prize so craved by the goals. And a victory that you feel will spur them to invest even more. It's too much better. My friend Congo, Congo we call him, is a good friend of mine. He's just making sure no matter what, the year was not going to stop him getting that medal around his neck. Certainly wanted to be a part of all of the celebration and receiving his medal. An equipment man in the team, but everybody playing their part.
And everyone had to play their part in a championship effort. They're dancing, they're celebrating. They'll soak this all up. And after working so very hard, who can blame them? Who can rob them of this moment? It's wonderful to see. And there's the trophy, waiting to be raised.
Ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attention.
It's almost time for Mount Pleasant to lift the prize of their desires. They are the pride of St. Anne tonight. From Runaway Bay, Mount Pleasant are your Jamaica Premier League champions for the 2022-2023 season. What a moment for them tonight.
Massive, massive moment for them. And I tell you what, it is going to go well into tomorrow as well. Well into the tomorrow as well. And I'm pretty sure as I journey back to Trelawney tomorrow, I will come across a big motorcade. I might just join it.
You might just join in. Leger, your final thoughts.
Mount Pleasant, they fought and they fought. They had their skeptics this season, but when it came to the big moment, they delivered, and they deserve this trophy. They deserve this celebration. And as I said, I'm sure they'll be celebrating for many days, weeks, months, maybe even a year to come. Congratulations, Mount Pleasant.
These are the closing sights and sounds of the Jamaica Premier League season for the 2022-23 season. Mount Pleasant, they had a mandate and they came out on top. They are your champions this year, with a lot of investment, with a lot of support, financially and otherwise. They have come to Sabina Park and they have conquered Kingston in the process. They're holding on to the object of their desire for so long, and now they have the title of champions with it. What a season it has been. It's been a pleasure to bring it to you on the Home of Champions. On behalf of our producer Ramon Stewart, our director Michael Edwards, and the hard-working production team, I'm Donald Oliver. It is good night, goodbye from Sabina Park for the final time.